Hi there, welcome to our channel. I'm Raquel, and together with Jason, we're navigating the exciting world of home automation while balancing our busy lives and caring for our two little ones. So if you're curious about making your home a bit smarter too, you're in the right place. Our first project was born out of a very simple family need. Our kids were honestly a bit scared of the dark. So we decided to tackle the problem head-on, starting with our dark hallway. Bringing these pieces together took some trial and error. We learned a lot about how these devices communicate and the best ways to set them up for reliable performance. Fair warning, this video is long, because we will get into the details. You can find the chapters below if you're looking for something specific. If you want to get familiar with everything, make yourself comfortable, get a snack, and off we go. First off, the heart of our smart home system, an Intel NUC i5 computer, a small but powerful PC, perfect for our smart home's brain, running Home Assistant, our automation software. This compact powerhouse runs Home Assistant, which is like the brain behind all our automation magic. Setting up Home Assistant was our first step, laying the foundation for everything that followed. Installing Home Assistant OS on a NUC. Step-by-step guide. First, power on your NUC. Immediately press the F2 key several times to enter the BIOS setup. This is like opening the control panel for your NUC. In the BIOS, navigate to the Boot tab. In here, find and enable the UEFI boot option. This ensures your NUC starts up with the right settings. Still in the BIOS, locate the Secure Boot option under the Security tab and disable it. This step is crucial for allowing your NUC to boot from external devices like our installation USB. Next, go to the Power tab and find Power On Failure. Set this to On to ensure your NUC automatically restarts after any power failure. To save these settings, press F10 and confirm you want to save and exit. This locks in your changes, preparing us to move on. With your NUC still on, insert the USB stick containing the Ubuntu installation media into a USB port. This is like inserting the key to start the installation process. Restart your NUC. As it reboots, press F10 or F12 to open the boot menu and select the USB drive as the boot device. This tells your NUC to start from the USB, where our installation files are. Once the Ubuntu installer loads, choose Try Ubuntu without installing. This allows us to use Ubuntu directly from the USB without making any changes to our NUC storage yet. After Ubuntu starts, now select Try Ubuntu. Type GNOME disks to launch the GNOME disks utility. Before you delete all partitions on the SSD, don't forget to back up any important data. Here, select your SSD and delete all existing partitions. Click on each partition in turn and then click the minus button, typically located at the bottom right of the window. Confirm the deletion for each partition. Once all partitions have been deleted, create a new partition by clicking the plus sign button, usually found at the bottom left of the window. Follow the prompts to create a new partition. When given the option, select Erase. Then, for the type, choose Other. And when asked for a file system, select No File System. Click Create to initiate the partition creation process. Note, this process may take approximately 1 hour and 30 minutes to complete. After this process is complete, don't close the window. You'll need it in a bit. Connect your NUC to the internet via Wi-Fi settings. Then, open Firefox from the Ubuntu dock or Applications menu. Navigate to the Home Assistant website by entering homeassistant.io, just as you can see here, in the address bar. Go to the Documentation section, then find the Installation Guide. Since we are using a NUC, look for the Home Assistant operating system setup instructions for generic 86/64 devices. Then look for the Download the image and click on it. This will download the image. The download time for the Home Assistant OS image may vary based on your internet speed. Remember to download the software from official sources to avoid the risks of malware or corrupt files. After the download is complete, return to the disk's window. Select the three dots on the top right and select Restore Disk Image. We'll use the image you see here. Once flashing is finished, power off the NUC and remove the USB stick. If you didn't already, connect the Ethernet cable to the NUC. Now turn it on and it should now boot in the Home Assistant OS. And you're ready to begin setting up your smart home. Voila! If you're excited about smart homes, don't forget to subscribe and share your journey with us in the comments below.
To seamlessly access your Home Assistant OS, you'll need its IP address. Here's how to locate it more efficiently. Navigate to your router's interface. Open your preferred web browser and enter your router's IP address to access its settings. In my case, it is 192.168.1.1, but it will vary based on your router and network setup. How to identify the Home Assistant IP. Within the router's interface, look for a section named Connected Devices, DHCP Clients, or something similar. In here, you'll find a list of devices that are connected to your network. Locate the entry for Home Assistant. It may be listed by device name, host name, often Home Assistant, or the device's manufacturer if recognized. Note the IP address assigned to it. Let's now access Home Assistant. With the IP address in hand, open a new tab in your browser. Type in the IP address followed by :8123, just as you can see in the image, and press Enter. This directs you to the Home Assistant login page. Now to create your profile. Click on Create My Smart Home to initiate your profile setup. Carefully select a username and create a strong, secure password to protect your smart home system. Once you've entered your details, click on Create to establish your profile. Set your home location. For Home Assistant to operate smoothly and accurately, it's crucial to configure your home's location. This step enables Home Assistant to determine your time zone automatically, which is essential for scheduling and automations that depend on time. Simply insert your home location when prompted and then click Next. You have the option to share information from your Home Assistant installations with the developers. This data helps improve Home Assistant and is used to diagnose issues and guide future enhancements. If you're comfortable contributing, select the option to share your information. Otherwise, you can skip this step. Just click Next to proceed. Review your settings to ensure everything is configured as you desire. When you're ready, click on Finish to complete the setup process.
Now, you'll need to go down to your profile. Scroll down to Activate Advanced Mode, then go to Settings, People, Users. This only shows up when Advanced Mode is enabled. Add User. In the display name, let's call it MQTT User. And in the username, let's call it MQTT_user. In the password, you'll want to create a secure one. Now, click Create. Then, we'll add the MQTT Mosquitto broker. The software acts as a middleman, allowing different devices to communicate smoothly. Think of it as a translator, breaking down barriers between gadgets speaking different tech languages. Go to Settings, then Add-ons, go to Add-on Store and search for the MQTT Mosquitto. Install it, and when it finishes, select Watchdog and hit Start. Leave the auto update off. If you leave it on and an update is installed, it can break things up. I really don't recommend it for inexperienced users. Now, go back to Settings, Devices and Services, and now we can see the MQTT integration. This is the integration that will talk to the broker. As you can see, Home Assistant already detected a few other devices, but we'll ignore them for now. Go to Configure and hit Submit and Finish. Now again, hit Configure on the Mosquitto broker. Now click Reconfigure MQTT and in the username, write the user you've created earlier and the password. Hit Next, scroll down and Submit. Next up, Zigbee2mqtt. This add-on was crucial for integrating our Xiaomi Mi motion sensor and Zigbee light bulbs into the system. It translates Zigbee signals into something the MQTT broker can understand, creating a seamless flow of information between our motion sensor, light switch, and ultimately the lights themselves. Zigbee is a protocol used for wireless communication between devices. It's designed for low power, low data rate, and close proximity communication, making it ideal for smart home devices that don't require high bandwidth, but need long battery life and secure, reliable operation. Once you're on the Zigbee2mqtt homepage, navigate to the guide. Here, you're looking for specific instructions, so head over to Installation. Within the Installation section, there's a special part dedicated to the Home Assistant add-on. Click on this to proceed. This click takes you to a crucial page. Here you'll find a GitHub link. This link is essentially your direct line to installing Zigbee2mqtt on your Home Assistant. What you need to do is copy this GitHub link. It's your key to the next step of the setup process. Next, we're heading back to the Home Assistant tab. Once there, navigate to Settings. Look for the Add-ons section, and in the bottom right, you'll spot the Add-on Store. Dive into the store and you'll see 3 horizontal dots at the top right corner. Click on those and then select Repositories. In the Repositories area, you're going to paste the GitHub link we copied earlier. Hit Add and then close the pop-up window. Let's keep moving. After that, we're going to circle back to the Settings menu in Home Assistant. Head over to Add-ons once more and click on the Add-on Store again. This time, use the search bar to look for Zigbee2mqtt. When you find the Zigbee2mqtt add-on, click on it, then hit Install. Patience is key here. Give it a moment to complete the installation process. Once the installation finishes, there are a few settings we need to tweak to ensure everything runs smoothly from here on out. Enable Start on Boot, Watchdog, and also Show in Sidebar. These settings help make sure Zigbee2mqtt starts up with Home Assistant, is monitored for any issues, and is easily accessible from your sidebar. Now head over to Developer Tools on the left-hand sidebar. Here you'll find an option to restart Home Assistant. Go ahead and click Restart, then confirm your action. This step is crucial for the changes to take effect. Don't worry, it'll only take a few seconds. Once Home Assistant is back up, you're all set with Zigbee2mqtt fully integrated and ready to go. Alright, next step in our setup involves a little detective work to find our Zigbee sniffer. Head back into Settings, then navigate to System. Here you'll find a section labeled Hardware. This is where all your connected devices make their presence known. We're on the lookout for our Zigbee sniffer. Its name typically begins with TTY, which is a bit of a secret handshake for identifying serial devices. Scanning for anything that starts with TTY should lead you right to it. Once you spot it, go ahead and click on it to reveal more details. Your goal here is to locate the device path. This path is essentially the address your Home Assistant will use to communicate with the Zigbee sniffer. Make sure you copy this device path. It's a crucial piece of information we'll need to ensure Zigbee2mqtt can talk to your devices smoothly. Next up, we need to ensure Zigbee2mqtt can communicate with our Zigbee sniffer. So, let's dive back into the Zigbee2mqtt add-on configuration. Navigate through Settings, Add-ons, and find Zigbee2mqtt in your list of add-ons. Once you're there, head over to the Configuration tab. Scroll down to the Serial section, and here you'll need to specify the port your Zigbee sniffer is connected to. Type this snippet you see on the screen. Don't worry, you can also copy it from the description of the video. Now paste the device path you copied earlier right after these 2 spaces. This step is crucial as it tells Zigbee2mqtt exactly where to send its messages. Now let's configure the MQTT connection settings. Move up to the field labeled MQTT. This is where you'll input details to ensure Zigbee2mqtt can communicate with your MQTT broker. We've got a code snippet for you, which you can find on our website linked below. Within this snippet, there are 3 key changes you need to make. For the server, you'll need the address to your Home Assistant. Simply copy the URL from the address bar at the top of your browser window and paste it here. This sets up the direct line to your Home Assistant instance. Next, input the user you created earlier for MQTT access. This username is essential for authentication, ensuring a secure communication. Finally, add the password you set up for this user. This step is all about security, making sure only authorized users and devices can communicate with your MQTT broker. Making these adjustments tailors the MQTT settings to your specific setup, ensuring a seamless flow of information between Zigbee2mqtt, your MQTT broker, and your Home Assistant system. After configuring Zigbee2mqtt with your Zigbee sniffer and MQTT details, it's time to save those settings. Just click Save, then head back to Settings, find Add-ons, and select Zigbee2mqtt again. Now it's time to bring it all to life by hitting Start. Once started, navigate to the Logs tab. Here, keep an eye out and refresh the logs until you spot the reassuring message, Zigbee started. Patience is key. It might take about a minute to appear. With Zigbee2mqtt up and running, we're set to introduce Zigbee devices into our Home Assistant ecosystem. Head over to the Zigbee2mqtt tab in your Home Assistant interface. Here, you'll find the option Permit Join All. This is your green light for devices to start connecting with Home Assistant. Activating this option kicks off a timer, opening a window of opportunity for your devices to join the network. Now it's time to wake up your Zigbee device, which in our example is a movement sensor. This usually involves a quick manual reset. It's like saying hello in the language of Zigbee. Once reset, keep an eye on your Home Assistant. Your device should pop up there shortly. To keep things organized and easily manageable, it's a good idea to rename your newly added device to something you'll recognize at a glance. In Home Assistant, find your device and opt to update the Home Assistant Entity ID. Then give your device a new name that speaks to you and hit Rename Device. And just like that, you successfully integrated your first Zigbee device with Home Assistant. You're now officially a smart home tinkerer. Congratulations! If the timer is still ticking away, you're in luck. You can keep adding more devices to your network. But if time has run out, no worries at all. Simply click on the Permit Join button once more to kickstart the timer again, opening up another window to connect additional devices. In our case, we were racing against the clock and needed a bit more time, so we reactivated the timer to add our light bulb. To get the light bulb ready to join the Zigbee network, we had to perform a quick physical reset. This involves turning the light bulb on and off 5 times in quick succession. On that crucial 5th time, leave it on. You'll know you've done it right when the bulb stays lit and then starts blinking. This blinking is the bulb's way of saying, I'm ready to join the party! Once the light bulb starts its blinking dance, the Zigbee sniffer springs into action, detecting the bulb's signal. Keep an eye on your Home Assistant, specifically under the Zigbee2mqtt Add-on section. Before you know it, your light bulb will appear there, ready for you to integrate it into your smart home setup. And there you have it. Another device successfully added to your growing network of smart devices. After successfully connecting the light bulb to Home Assistant, we dove back into the familiar routine to make sure it's perfectly integrated into our smart home setup. The first order of business, changing its name to something more recognizable, just like we did with our previous device. We navigated to the device's settings within Home Assistant, opted to update the Home Assistant Entity ID and gave it a new, easily identifiable name. With our light bulb neatly labeled and integrated, we turned our attention to adding our switch to the network. The reset process for the switch is a tad different. This time, it involves physically pressing and holding the reset button on the switch for about 5 seconds. It's a simple gesture that says to the switch, it's time to join a bigger network. Once the switch signaled it was ready and appeared in Home Assistant under the Zigbee2mqtt Add-on, we followed the same steps as before. We changed its name to something we could easily identify at a glance, ensuring our Home Assistant setup remains neat and organized. After selecting to update the entity and clicking the Rename Device button, our switch was fully integrated and ready to play its role in our smart home. Now that we have all the necessary components connected to Home Assistant, our home automation project is really starting to take shape. It feels like we've reached a significant milestone and everything is becoming more tangible. If you're thinking that this explanation seems lengthy, let me assure you, you're getting the ultra-condensed version of our journey. We're sparing you the details of our failed attempts, the moments of frustration, where we asked ourselves, but why isn't this working? Not to mention the countless resets and the literal sweat equity we invested in making everything work seamlessly. This process is a testament to the learning curve involved in home automation, but every step brings us closer to creating a smart home that truly enhances our daily lives. It's time to bring our smart home to life with our first automation. This is where the real fun begins, as we start to see the fruits of our labor. Follow these steps to create an automation in Home Assistant. Navigate to Home Assistant Settings. Head over to Settings, then find Automations and Scenes. In the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see the option to create automation. Click on that, then choose Create a new automation. Set up a trigger. The trigger is what kicks off your automation. Click on Add Trigger and then select State as the type. For the entity, choose your movement sensor, the one you've previously set up in Zigbee2mqtt and assigned a recognizable ID to. We're using the binary occupancy entity for our trigger, so select that and set the state to Detected. This means the automation will activate when movement is detected. Define the action. Now for the exciting part. What happens when the trigger is activated? Click on Add Action and choose the action type relevant to controlling your device. In this case, call service for turning on a light. For the target, select the entity of the light bulb you integrated earlier through Zigbee2mqtt. This is where you can also play around with additional settings like brightness, color, or duration, depending on what your device supports and your personal preferences. Save and name your automation. After setting up the trigger and action, click Save to store your automation. Give it a descriptive name so you can easily identify it later. This helps keep your automations organized, especially as you add more over time. To extend your smart home capabilities, you can create another automation for your switch. This process mirrors the one you've just completed, but instead of being triggered by the movement sensor, it's activated by the switch. Set up the switch as a trigger entity, and for the action, choose to either turn the light bulb on or off, depending on the switch state. This dual setup allows for both motion-activated lighting and manual control, offering convenience and flexibility in how you manage your smart home environment. And just like that, you've created your first automation in Home Assistant, making a significant milestone in your home automation journey. As you become more comfortable with the process, you'll find endless possibilities for making your home smarter and your life easier. With our Intel NUC i5 humming away with Home Assistant, the MQTT Mosquitto broker knitting our devices together, and Zigbee2mqtt ensuring our Zigbee devices spoke the same language as the rest of our setup, we were ready to configure the automation. This is where the magic happens. We set up rules within Home Assistant to turn on the hallway light whenever the motion sensor detected movement, ensuring a warm welcome for anyone navigating the house at night. And here's how it all came together. Our hallway now has a smart light that turns on just when you need it. It's a small change, but it's made a big difference in our daily routine. It's amazing how a little bit of light can make such a big difference. This project was just a start for us, and we've learned so much since then. This journey into home automation is more than just about gadgets and tech. It's about enhancing our family life one project at a time. We're excited to keep exploring, learning, and sharing our experiences with you. Subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated on our latest projects and insights. If there's something in this video that did not work for you, leave us a comment below. Thank you for watching, and we can't wait to share more with you on our next video. Bye!